Welcome to ShiftWatch. I'm your host, Starbuck. In this episode, HoneyCGolden invited me to sit down with her for her channel, and I had the rare chance to speak to someone also vibrating at high levels. Just before we went on air, Honey shared that she had finally had a tangible experience of her own, and so sharing the details of our experiences just become much richer after someone else can validate your own. Thank you, Honey, for your contributions. There are plans afoot with Honey and myself to host a live Zoom session soon where others can interact together with us in real time. Stay tuned for the details. Next, Ben Davidson from the recently renamed Suspicious Observers shares his current observations on the uptick in solar activity, earthquakes swarming near Santorini's volcano, and more. Then, I will keep bringing evidence of current activity or contact when it resonates. And so here is the latest update a few nights ago from my buddy Mental Chillness. So often now we're presented with images in the sky with no explanation of what we're seeing. It's important to understand what we're seeing in preparation for contact because it's imminent. Here's some awesome infrared video for your consideration. And finally, seeing as this week the Lemurians kept creeping into conversations, it's only right that I replay part of a real Lemurian's explanation of life in Telos in her own words. So I present to you again Sharula Dux, Lemurian Princess, on communications and computers. My special thanks to my friend Dianne Robbins for permission to repurpose this historic information.
There is contact being made, and that's what Helen and Honey and I are going to tell you about today, because, man, if we're having that contact, we're just as human as the rest of you. And it's time for those of you that want to have contact to prepare for it, because it's going to happen.
Yeah. And I would prepare by talking to them with your mind first, because it's not as intimidating. And if you know how to talk to your higher self, then you can talk through your higher self to them. And that's fairly easy, but they actually make you kind of nauseous sometimes when you're around them. And because their vibration is pushing your body a little bit, or you might heat up, or there's another one, your ears might ring.
Those are good points. And really, if you want some evidence, some physical evidence that this is taking place, you just hit the nail on the head. I started to appreciate, I understood later I was capable of bilocating. But I didn't really understand until really for the last few months what leaving your body means. And so when I do that, and it's only that you realize that when you return to your body, when you're kind of coming out of that waking state and your body feels like it has no movement. I know I'm laying on the couch, but I can't feel it under my butt and my leg. I can't feel the difference. And then all of a sudden you do. Whoa, now you understand what leaving your body was like and traveling and returning to it. You are right. There's an adaptation that takes place. Your density has to change when you visit these higher realms. And when you return, you have to readjust to this density. I have not been an abductee, but I've certainly appreciated those that have been. But I have a new appreciation for what has happened to them, for those people that have had, marks that remained, from whatever that was, whether it was malevolent or benevolent, because there's been both. It was suggested to me recently, this whole idea that when you come into your body, in order for you to have been examined by them in any way when you left the planet, your density also had to change. And when you returned, it had to readapt to this place. And that's when marks have been left behind. So I think we just haven't heard enough from those people that have had those types of interactions that were benevolent and positive. We've heard about the secret space programs and the abductions and that. And yes, there was a dark side to this. However, I believe that that element is gone. The residue that was left over from their hijinks is still here, and we're still working through it. But I think that the only vibration is just to move forward. Earth's final stage is just about complete. And all we're talking about is keeping up with her. Because once her vibration changes permanently to the next level, we're just scrambling to match it so we can go along. Am I going to go along with the 3D stuff that's going to entropy away? Or am I going to evolve with the rest of it? Well, I've seen where we're going. So the choice for me is simple. Now we're just here, and thank you for the work that you do to communicate this information to people that don't know anything about this.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Today we've got more than usual to cover. We've got seismicity, weather, a triple dose of eye candy, a couple important announcements at the end, but we are starting, as always, with the last 24 hours on our star. We find continued solar flaring, plasma filament eruptive activity, next coronal hole, big, dark, turning in from the left. There isn't anything significant on its way to Earth here, and by tonight, the northern sunspot group will be departing. There is still Delta-class magnetism in the trailing cores, but so far its flaring has been moderate at worst. The plasma filament that erupted on the southern departing quadrant will not hit Earth, but boy does it show us why we have to monitor those filaments. Several more on the sun right now, including a couple directly facing the Earth. Seismic note up next. Santorini continues rumbling. The swarm in Greece has continued and climbed in magnitude, really hoping that one settles down at the supervolcano. Sticking with the crust, it appears that Yellowstone is moving north, slightly northeast. A new study shows that the magma chambers, which are nowhere near filled, are slowly moving towards central Montana. Reminder that they won't fill up until the pressure cap is tightened in the area. There's too much geyser, seismic, and geothermal release to build up for a big blast at this time. Weather up next. Japan doing its impression of the United States from last month. Records obliterated on the island there. And sticking with the weather, folks, it was about a week ago we said to watch this tropical node near Australia, pumping out low cells. One in particular, Talia, heading west into the Indian Ocean, will become a very major storm. We don't yet know where landfall will be, but we've got eyes open. We need them. Triple dose of eye candy up next, starting with a combination of Hubble and James Webb. Incredible view, side-on shot of a stellar core, the jet, the torus, the central disk. Top 10 prettiest shots the new satellite has taken, if you ask me. Up next, we've got astrometric wobbles and stars revealing planetary companions. Interestingly, while this method is not new, it is new to find them orbiting very low-mass stars in this way. It's a first here, as a brown dwarf and a gas giant were found around many stars. Last article today is actually an image release from Hubble, a galaxy with 9 rings. Might be the most tightly wound galaxy they've ever found. Absolutely stunning, especially with the satellite galaxies and background environment.
What I recommend if you want to orb watch, whether you feel called to record them or not with the world, that's up to you. But what I will tell you is that you will get the most miraculous and amazing experiences off camera. The most miraculous and amazing experience always happen off camera. Like I said, an orb flying as fast as a shooting star, and it's green, and it draws a J shape out. Lately, I've been seeing this really fast shooting star orb that's orange, and I think I've seen it 3 times now. But I barely caught it over my neighbor's house on one time, but it always avoids the camera, so I don't think it wants to be on camera. was talking about movement of orbs. Like, they do like orb dances. They'll like, well, they can like pause and go. Like, a lot of times, the ones that fly over our house, I don't think we have many orbs that actually just hover in this area, because I believe they choose to hover over specific points, probably due to whatever energy grid is around the planet, electromagnetic or ley lines, some people call it. But most of the orbs that I see here, they just pass over. A lot of times they pass over my head, and I have to like do this yoga to get it. But yeah, they'll do this orb dance. There's flashing orbs, and like a lot of the flashing orbs, sometimes they'll flash once or twice, maybe 3 times, and rarely you can get a flashing orb to keep flashing for you. And like, they tend to like teleport around, because like when they flash, they're only visible during the flash. So you can't see where they're gonna flash next. And it looks like they literally teleport around. Like, and the IR does not pick them up. Anybody can come out and watch the orbs and see miracles and amazing things happen. You'll see UAP, you'll see orbs, you'll see entities, you'll see everything, you'll see all of the above.
Our communication center, where we have monitored not only all communications within our city, but also communications that are coming from other Agardian cities, communications that are coming from off-planet spots, and we have also monitored surface communications from the point that there ever was surface communications. We have monitored radio and television waves. Another building that's very important to us is our computer building. In Telos, as with the other subterranean cities, our computers are run by an organic substance. Therefore, in essence, the computers live. They no longer run off a program that is strictly binary, but they run off what is called a multi-tracking program. Thus, they are multi-tracking computers. Thus, the computers are able to pick up akashas, past lives. They're able to monitor a human body and see what's amiss. They're able to read the aura. They're able to pick up communications happening clear across the galaxy. Thus, most of our life, or a good portion of our life, depends on these computers, these organic multi-tracking computers, which keep us in touch with not only talking to different people on the city, not only with the computer telling us what our physical needs are at the moment by monitoring our bodies, but also the computers are able to play our soul notes, which is able to produce in many subjects, such as meditation, taking us to higher and higher levels all the time. The computers are able to run our past lives when necessary for us, so that we are able to learn from mistakes that we have made in the past and forgotten. The computer is able to communicate with us on a soul level. Mostly important is the computers interconnect with other multi-tracking amino-based computers throughout the planet and throughout the cosmos as far as that's concerned. And they all operate off a Christ mind, which means the computers cannot be corrupted. They can never be used to spy on somebody. They can be used to monitor somebody for their own goodwill or for their own good. They can never be used to produce harm to another living entity. They cannot be used for any of the dark purposes. The computer simply won't cooperate, which has also been another way of Agartha cities and such taking a stand that they would not corrupt the light by very much taking this attitude that if it does not match the Christ mind, in other words, if the computers disagree, don't do it. It has been a way of, shall I say, retraining our aggressive techniques, retraining our tendencies to want to do unto another and split, retrain many of our other snooping tendencies and such. So we have come to depend upon these quite a bit. But again, even on a computer, it's not a matter of having the computer do it for you. It's a matter of learning from it. Learning from a form of the Christ mind there that you can see tangibly.